It's millions of people that want to play in the NBA. What are the odds of making the NBA? You don't even know those numbers. Preparation is power. You don't know what you're facing. So how can you prepare for something you don't even know? You got some research to do. Now they like, oh, my name is Corey Williams. Welcome to the Wolf Institute.
Hey, welcome to the Gifted Conversations, where I'm talking to people who are sharing their gift with those around them and the world at large. Tonight, I'm chatting with my buddy who's a felony on the court, Corey Homicide Williams. He's a legendary New York City street baller and current NBL analyst and commentator. We talked about what it takes to play in the NBA, how preparation is power, what it was like growing up in the Bronx, lessons from the New York City street ball courts, and so much more. Hope you enjoy your courtside seats at the Wolf Institute.
Yes, sir.
Corey, thanks so much for joining me, man. It's so good to see you. It's been a minute.
It's been a minute, my brother, man. Good to see you too. How's everything, man?
So far, so good. Just hanging, surviving, enjoying. Where are you? Are you in Australia or the city?
I'm definitely not in the city. I'm in Melbourne, Australia still.
There you go. How is it down there?
Well, we're on the lockdown, but the restrictions have been lifted to where you can go out, you can eat. It's just a limited amount of people in venues that we go to. So Australia is one of the safest places in the world to be, which is so interesting because, you know, it takes a day to get here. So it takes a long time to get to this place. So most people that are here are pretty much from the country. It's not like, you know, obviously America, it's shorter distances for a lot of countries to get to America than it is to come here. So they pretty much had it under control quicker. But then obviously, you know, with all the protests, marching and stuff like that, once restrictions got lifted a little bit, a lot of people got infected after that. So, you know, we're starting to see the effects of that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you've seen in the news, the U.S. has not done a good job of for anything for that matter regarding this. So yeah, we're seeing cases flare up again right now, but what can you do?
What can you do? You can just stay inside, stay safe. And that's all you can do. I mean, it's been a real messed up year. You know, 2020, man, this is a year we will never, ever forget. And, you know, still have 6 more months to go.
I know, it's halftime. We got a ways to go.
What you been up to, man?
Just hanging, man. I'm trying to get this podcast off the ground a little bit. So that's been taking up a bunch of time. And then, yeah, doing some of those Monday hangouts. We're doing them virtually now since we can't meet in person. And yeah, just trying to kind of get some partnerships and stuff locked in down the road when we're able to like hang out in person again. So staying busy.
Yeah. That's the most important thing. I mean, you know, being idle right now isn't the way to go. Mentally, you want to continue to be productive. You want to reach out to people, talk. You know, it's so therapeutic this day and age, especially what's going on now, to just talk, you know, reach out to friends, reach out to family, reach out to, you know, new people, create different partnerships, you know, try to put those ideas that we all have in the back of our heads that we've wanted to do, wanted to try, haven't had the time to try it. Now it's time to implement those ideas.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree more with you. Definitely been trying to talk to friends.
Put them into action. Yeah.
Well, yeah, just to dive right into it. So firstly, I was going to say, I was looking up some things online, and I feel like you kind of are an international man of mystery with all the places you played basketball, from like the Middle East, Europe, Australia, all over the world.
Yeah. I've been fortunate for my talents to have me, you know, see the world, doing what I love to do and getting paid for it. So just really, you know, it all just starts from identifying what you want to do at a young age. Some people don't know what they want to do. I was just lucky enough to find out at a young age what my passion was, what I really was obsessed with, not even in love with. And I just wanted to do it. So I put all my energy and effort into that. And, wouldn't stop until my dreams came to fruition. Once they came to fruition, I wanted to then excel in that lane. I was able to do so. I've been playing pro 14 years abroad, been all over the place. I haven't hit 2 continents out of the 7. Some point I'll go back to Africa for vacation, and I have no business in Antarctica, but I've hit everywhere else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So just continuing to count my blessings and be grateful, and continue to try to push the game and the culture forward.
Hell yeah. Well, yeah, we'll definitely get into it. And I mean, you're definitely doing that, and it's super cool to see all that. I just wanted to kind of wind back some things. So you kind of have that fascinating story where after school, you played a lot of street ball in New York City, and a lot of your major opportunities came from playing street ball as opposed to coming right out of college and going like into the big times.
Yeah. It's the unconventional route. We all dream of being college All-Americans, high school All-Americans, and go to that major university, do well, and get drafted to the NBA, and off you go. That was not my reality. I was a project, wasn't that good growing up, so it really took a lot of years to develop. Every year I had to develop. And, I'm very grateful for the route being that way, because I understand what it is to go without. I understand what it is to have nobody believe in you. And I'm more comfortable in that route, in going that road, because I knew how to master it. I knew what it took. You know what I'm saying? So I had to play street ball. I graduated from Alabama State. Yes, I have my degree in criminal justice, but, it's in a box somewhere with a whole lot of dust. I didn't sort out to be, work in the criminal justice area, so to speak. I wanted to play pro, and I had to go, again, the unconventional route, which was play street ball in New York City to get a rep. My coach didn't help me. I didn't have a big name or an agent. So I literally had to go to the playgrounds in New York City and, murder the competition, hence the nickname Homicide.
Yeah.
I got a shot to the NBA directly from Rucker Park, directly from Dykeman Park. They came to watch me play in these legendary parks where NBA players would come and play in the summertime. So I had an opportunity to go against some of the best players in the NBA. And I stood tall, got a shot to the NBA with the Raptors.
Yeah, man, that's incredible. I was gonna say, so yeah, you got your nickname Homicide, murdering people on the basketball court, being a felony on the court, and just showing people how to play.
Yeah, again, when going the unconventional route, the non-traditional route, you have to be the exception for them to even give you a look, because no one's looking for you. It's coming from the playground. You know what I mean? There are no NBA players fully developed on the playground. Get what I'm saying? Like, that's just how people think. There's not that much talent on the playground that could transition to the professional game. You know what I mean? So I literally had to make so much noise by killing the competition. I wouldn't leave games, no less than 30 points. If I'm rolling, it's 40. If I'm really going, it's 50. So
damn.
These were the things that I had to do, to get noticed.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
They gave you a nickname based on your style of play. And my goal literally was not to win games. I would try to win, but I know in street ball, nobody cares about the wins. People care about the amount of points you drop on somebody. Those are the stories that reign supreme for decades. So when I had the chance to go against Defensive Player of the Year, Ron Artest, and drop 26 points and get MVP at Rucker, those are the iconic stories that will live on forever. No one cares who won that game. All they're going to talk about is Homicide dropping 26 points on the Defensive Player of the Year in the NBA. You get what I'm saying? So
yeah, 1,000,000%.
It was just all about me figuring out a way to get exposure. And every game wasn't an elite defender in front of me, but I had to treat every game like that, because all you have is your reputation in the playground. Your reputation in life takes years to build and seconds to lose. And I knew if I lost, what would I have after that? You know what I mean? What would I have? Again, I'm not the college All-American, so I guarded my reputation with my life.
Yeah, I mean, that's just hearing some of the stories. And then I wasn't around for that era, but I think it was on PlayStation or PlayStation 2. They had that video game NBA Street. And there's players like Skip to My Lou, I think, and some other players. But I love that game, and that whole era of basketball just seems so fascinating to me. That whole culture around it.
Yeah, you know, I was very fortunate to grow up. You know, I'm from the Bronx. You know what I mean? I grew up in hip hop. I grew up in the culture of some of the greatest hip hop artists of all time, you know, honing their craft and becoming great. So at that point, you know, it wasn't the internet era. Now, kids are just on their phone doing this. They're not going outside. We were going outside where your mother and your father would be like, look, make sure when the sun goes down, your ass is in the house. Outside of that, go play. So we were in the parks all day. We would play for hours. I would play in tournaments just for hours. That was just New York City culture. You understand? The New York Knicks wasn't some place I didn't want to go to the Garden. I wanted to go to Rucker Park. We had our own culture. You know what I mean? Some of those guys needed street credibility, so they came and played in the park. That's why the park was so special. It drew everybody from all walks of life to it. That's why the playground was the shit to us. You know, nowadays, you can't even get kids to go play in the park. That's what's missing, that element, because of social media. Everybody's just stuck on their phones and playing video games all the time. Wasn't like that growing up. So I was very grateful that I had the opportunity to be a kid and grow up and play in the park. It's a big part of the culture in New York City.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to ask you about that next. So talking about this growing up in the park, I just imagine you must have learned so many lessons. That must have been such an education and character building experiences. So I'm just wondering, is there like some lessons that you learned that kind of stick with you from those days in the park?
Man, of course. You know, again, you know, you're talking to a kid that grew up in the Bronx. You know what I'm saying? So there's all types of things that go down in the park. You know, you have a lot of negative activity, you know, which was part of everyday life growing up in the Bronx. You know, you got gangs, you got drugs, you know, you got stick-up kids, you know, you got everything.
Everything, goddamn, yeah.
But the thing was, if you play basketball, nobody will bother you. You know what I'm saying? Because they knew you weren't about the negativity that was happening. You know what I mean? If anything, you represented the neighborhoods that they were from. So you were like their local star, which they loved because it made them feel good that somebody doing something positive, representing the neighborhood, is from where they're from. So it would be exactly a lot of love, but also you knew what came with that life, just watching the mistakes that others made. You know, you knew that whatever fame or respect or props that they had or they were chasing, it was short-lived. So you learned so many things at once, like what not to do. You knew if you went that route, what would happen. So there were so many examples of that. And, you know, a lot of people weren't and aren't bad people. It was just a lot of negative. It was just survival.
Yeah.
You know, we grew up in New York where back in the day, like I'm older. So I grew up when New York was like, it wasn't white people jogging in the neighborhood with their dogs and their family up in the Bronx and Harlem. That wasn't the case. It was, do not go to the Bronx. The furthest you go in a train to the Bronx is Yankee Stadium, and you take your ass back downtown. You know, that's like the era I grew up in. So it was dangerous. You know, the concrete jungle, it's called that for a reason. You know, Giuliani cleaned that up. You know, they cleaned it up and they did a really good job of it. You know, but it was burning apartment buildings. It was abandoned buildings. Like the Bronx was burning. You know, that's when landlords would set the apartments on fire for the insurance money. So it was wild. It was wild. But, I grew up in a house that had love and education and hard workers. So regardless of what was going on outside, my household that I lived in, again, a lot of love, a lot of education, and a lot of discipline. So you knew what not to do. Or if you thought you can go do some nonsense, accountability.
Yeah.
There will be accountability for your actions. So I knew accountability, made you more responsible and made better decisions.
I only know the New York that's kind of the quote unquote the safer version of it, where things aren't as gritty as it used to be. But yeah, you hear stories and you watch the news, this and that back in the day, and yeah, survival sounds like what it would kind of be like to grow up during that time, man. So it's crazy.
Yeah. So just just grateful that I had a passion and a dream that I was able to identify at a young age. Thankful for my brother. He played basketball, and I was bored one day, and I was like, man, I ain't got nothing else to do. Let me go with you to your game. And it was love at first sight. It was an obsession, so I wasn't good, but I just really wanted to learn how to do this, how to play this game. In middle school, I was a troublemaker. I was a class clown. And back in those days, if you were a borderline student from passing and failing, they would grade you based on your behavior. Your behavior had a lot to do with it. So my report card was all red. And my mom paid tuition for me to go to a high school. It was which was all boys, Catholic school. And, when your mother's paying tuition, again, accountability breeds responsibility. It was Rice High School. It was the #1 high school in the nation for basketball. It was the best school that I could have attended. Lucky for me, they put me on academic probation. They told my mother, we can't let your son in here. We're not with this report card. Academically, he will fail. There was no way he can keep up with this curriculum based off of his grades in middle school. My mother begged the dean to let her son in. They said, look, here's what we'll do. We'll put him on academic probation for the first half of the year, and then we will revisit this. And I had an 80 average. So again, it wasn't about if I was able to keep up with the curriculum and academics. It was just a matter of being accountable for my actions and being disciplined. All boys school, there's no girls around, so there's no reason you want to be a class clown, to win the contest. So yeah. You take that out the picture. Now you just got to focus. And not to mention, I'm at the #1 high school in the nation for basketball. So, you want to play ball, your grades need to be right. Okay. And off we go. So now, what does that do? That puts me in a system. I wake up every day. I have a schedule. I wake up every day. I go to this school. I do 8 periods of class. After that, I have study hall. After that, I have practice. After that, I'm on the train back up to the Bronx. I eat, I shower, I sleep, repeat. Games during the week or games on the weekend. There is no way, if you are disciplined and you stick to this schedule, how are you getting in trouble with outside forces? You're not. But everybody growing up does not have a disciplined schedule in that manner. You know what I mean? So I was very, very grateful. And the pride and the reputation that the high school had, second to none. So the brotherhood that we had, the people that went to that school, the people that will influence you every day, the style of dress, academic-wise, basketball-wise. There's no way if you were focused, you would fail. You wouldn't want to fail. Even the cool guys weren't failing. So, there was no, what's your excuse? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it sounds good that they kind of minimized any sort of distraction available, because the schooling was so rigorous, the practice, you don't want to let your teammates down. So they kind of got you to stay focused and stay disciplined. So, and if you're representing the #1 high school for basketball at the time, you don't want to be the weakest
The link.
person
No, you
on the
don't.
team. Yeah.
No, you do not.
So speaking, I know that yeah, the players that were the caliber of players on the team were incredible, but what is it that makes a basketball team good? Like, how does one get chemistry or teamwork to make something happen?
I think it starts with the leader, with the coach. It starts with the best player on the team, because he's going to set the tone for work ethic, right? You're the best player on the team. You're probably the team captain. So your leadership role, it plays such a huge part in everybody after you. Because if you come into work every day working hard, nobody else has an excuse, right? So that's showing consistency. That's showing leadership as a coach, understanding your teammates, understanding your players. Sorry, not your teammates, but your players, your team. You know, the players reflect the coach. You know, so you have to have the identity of the team. You have to have great teamwork. You have to have focus. You have to have discipline. You have to have that off-court stuff breeds chemistry. You need to have plays that fit your team style of play, right? Why are we going to have a bunch of three-point plays offensively if your team can't shoot? You have to get the best out of your players. So you have to play to your team's strength. You have to put players in a position to excel. I'm not going to put you in a full court press system at the front if you slow as hell. I'll put you in the back. You know what I mean? So you got to understand the strength and weakness of your team as a whole and your individual players. You know, and put these guys in the positions to be the best that they can be. You know, communication have to be open, and guys have to want to buy in to whatever you're selling them.
Yeah, I mean, that all makes total sense. I watched the Last Dance documentary with Michael Jordan, the Bulls and whatnot, and seeing a little bit of that and then hearing what you're speaking on, kind of connecting those dots, that makes total sense. And just for perspective for me and maybe for some of the listeners, as far as the game of basketball, like, how cutthroat is it? Like, how talented are these athletes, let alone if you're going to be a superstar? But what is just like the level of talent of these people?
People really don't understand this game. It's a business. You got to understand, right? So there's a million of you. There's a million of me. A million people that play my position that want to do what I'm doing. How you approach the game is what you're going to get out of it. You have to know that it's business. At 13 years old, at 14 years old, it's business. So if you have that in your head, you will approach it as such. You will treat it like that. Don't think everybody's going to get an opportunity. That's not true. What you put in is what you will get out. It is super cutthroat, man. You got to go hard at it, but that's just anything in life. You know, there are no guarantees you're going to play pro because you're tall or athletic or good in junior high school. No, you're good in high school. There's no guarantee. You're good in college. Don't mean you're going to go pro. You know what I mean? The game is no longer domestic. It's global. There's a million people to choose from. So, you know, it's a business, man. So the earlier you know it, the better off you will be. You will treat it as such. There are no guarantees. I don't care who you are.
Yeah, that's powerful, and it's good to kind of have that in your head started young, just to know that you know, it's a business. You're in it for the long haul, and you got to stay focused the entire time.
You got to stay focused. You got to stay fit. You got to stay in shape. You know, you got to make sure you are a good person. You know, first thing people gonna ask, they don't care about your talent. There's a million people that are talented. Is he a good person? How's his character? Does he get in any trouble? You are an investment. People want a return in their investment. ROI, a return on their investment. Do I have to worry about this guy when we're off the court? How's his family? What type of household does he come from? You understand what I'm saying? What's his grades? How's his decision-making been? They don't care about sport. You're supposed to be able to play. All right, cool. There's a million people that can play. What about the other things? Because at the end of the day, it's a business. Will you make me look good if I bring you on? I got a job to keep. I have a family to take care of. I got kids going to college. If I'm investing in you, I need to know your character is proper. Because if your character isn't, I potentially will lose it all. It's a business.
Yeah, I mean, even like me just trying to, the people I'm hanging out with and the friends and whatnot, it's all about, yeah, just character and who they are as people. And if, you know, is it worth spending time with them? Or are they going to lift me up and help me out and vice versa? So it's not exactly how I would have thought of it, but that makes so much sense. And you also mentioned how basketball is now global, and I mean, it's been global, but now with like social media and all the eyes on basketball, you're an analyst and commentator for the NBL, which is the Australian Basketball League.
I am. Yes.
How did that come about?
Well, during my time playing professionally, I played in Australia for 4 consecutive years. My 3rd season here, I got MVP of the league. My first season, well, let's start with my first season. I was very fortunate to hit the ground running. My style of play is more like Westbrook before Westbrook, right?
Nice.
What I mean, high energy, push the ball, super aggressive attacking the rim, go up aggressive to dunk and finish, talk trash in your face, that type of energy. I'm the guy.
Love it.
You either love to hate, you love to hate them. You know what I mean? You love or hate me. That's who I was. I was, you know, an exciting player to watch, public enemy #1 in a lot of venues. You know, you would want me to lose because I talk so much. But either way, you're watching. I understood sport and entertainment. You know what I mean? And I didn't let the entertainment aspect overtake the sport. I knew how to walk the line, and I was confident doing so. You know, I was one of the only players not in the NBA to have his own sneaker contract. I had my own signature sneakers sold in Foot Locker Global, the 187s, which is the police code for homicide, murder. Right?
I love that so much. I think that's one of the coolest stories ever.
Yeah. So like, there aren't players not in the NBA to have their own signature shoe sold in Foot Locker, you know, and we're talking getting royalties and everything. So I did that and got MVP in the league. So I literally was balling in my own shoe and got MVP of the league.
Yes.
And, you know, I was very fortunate to play 4 years here, built an incredible fan base. And I talk a lot, you know, in the off season, why street ball was even better was because I was still able to grassroots market a shoe with a shoe brand. Again, you're getting your ROI, anybody that invested in me when I was playing street ball, because street ball, I was one of the best players ever in the world, right? So cameras is following me, fans is following me. So whatever brand I'm representing, they're getting ultimate exposure in the summertime. As well as when I go play in my respective league, I'm the face of a league. So you're getting, again, the ultimate exposure for your brand year round. That's why I used to get with smaller companies. You know, Nike, they're not going to pay a guy like me. Adidas, they're not going to pay a guy like me. Reebok, they're not. Those are the major leagues, right? Cool. They'll give you product, and that's cool, but I'm not a product guy at that point. Now you pay me to represent your company, to wear your brand. And I understood athletes and the power in brands and companies and marketing. I understood that. So that's why I was able to get these sneaker company deals with smaller brands. Because NBA players are going to the major brands, and they're going to pay those guys because you're going to get the maximum exposure in America at the highest level in America. But the smaller brands, I would be able to align my brand with because it worked. Now, in terms of Australia, once I finished playing, Australia reached out to me and offered me the contract as an analyst. You know, again, it goes back to character. I was 5 years removed from the country and playing in the Middle East at the time when I got the opportunity to do so. So if I didn't carry myself the right way, not even knowing this opportunity would come later, you know, it's all about, that's just a testament right there to how you carry yourself. Because you never know when opportunity is going to come and where it's coming from and in the manner that it's going to come. If I was an asshole in Australia and did the wrong things, I wouldn't have this opportunity.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think that speaks volumes about who you are as a person and your talent, that, that you've been doing the commentating and analyzing with them. And from what I've been reading, I mean, it seems like the Australians in the league they really like you, and you're authentic, you're unabashed, you're honest, you tell it like it is. And I don't know, I think that's good for entertainment. We need a voice like that.
Yeah, you know, I really appreciate the opportunity here to work. Australia is a beautiful country. I enjoyed my time when I played in the league. I enjoyed the fans. You know, whether it's love, whether it's hate, doesn't matter. You're watching, you're tuned in. You know what I'm saying? It's just a different perspective. It's being honest. It's the unbiased honesty of a New Yorker. New Yorker will always just flat out keep it real. You know, however we say it, some people might be brash, but,
Yeah.
you know, we don't straddle the fence. We call it as we see it. And, you know, it can be a gift, it can be a curse, but it is what it is, you know? So it's been great. You know, it's my third season I just finished, and it's engaging. And that's what, you know, we need. We need the engagement, you know, obviously by playing the game. You know, the advantage that I have is I'm able to talk about the game, you know. As a former MVP, you bring credibility to me being as unbiased as I am, because a guy can't say, who are you? You never even played. Well, I did, you know. So, no, it's been great. It's been great.
You know, between people like you, and then you've got talent in the NBL like LaMelo Ball, who's arguably going to be the #1 NBA draft pick. There's rumor about that. I don't know if it's fact or not yet, but it feels like the NBL is having a bit of a moment right now. So, you know, what are some of the future plans that you guys have going on, as much as you can say without getting into trouble or anything?
I mean, there's a lot going on. They just announced today the 10th team will be in the league next year, the 21-22 season. The Tasmanian team will be in the NBL. It's a world-class league. You know, I could tell you just as simple as that. Now, why I say that it's one of the best leagues outside of the NBA, it's simple. Your league has Aussies playing internationally as imports. Let me explain to you what that actually means. Every domestic league has a limit of Americans, non-locals, that can play in the league. Usually the import players are American players, right? So in the Australian league currently, last season, you can have 3 American players max per team. Those are your imports. There's Australian players that leave the NBL and go play as imports. That's how you know how strong the league is, where your local players are almost as good or equally as good as American imports. That's how I rank leagues. So, for example, the Israeli league, it's a good league, but how many Israelis are playing in other countries as imports? Get what I'm saying? Not as much as Aussies, I can tell you that. Your Australian national team is ranked 3rd in the world.
Wow.
That shows you the strength of the country. You have 14 Australians in the NBA. The face of Australian basketball is Ben Simmons and Patty Mills. Patty Mills is an NBA champion who starts with the Spurs. You get what I'm saying? So, and your domestic league right now, again, is one of the best in the world. Melo Ball came here, killed it. Started off slow and got better as we progressed. I was not a believer, And I watched with my own eyes, which made me believe this guy is the #1 pick in the NBA draft. RJ Hampton will be a top 20 pick in the NBA draft. He'll be lottery, top 15, 100%. So I'm just excited for these young guys. And there's a whole lot of younger Aussie talents that got the exposure due to Melo and RJ, because obviously these are two young future stars in the NBA. So the whole world, when they came over to play in the NBL, the whole world took notice. And when everybody takes notice, you can actually see how talented and how good this league actually is. And if everybody's watching, other people will get an opportunity. And that's what happened with a young guy who surprised the whole NBL, this Aussie player. He had a 10-day contract, was about to be offered, but then COVID hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, his name is Will Magnay. So Bogut had another offer, Andrew Bogut. Jay Sean Tate had another offer. Mitch Creek had another offer, who's an Aussie. He was with Brooklyn and finished with Minnesota the year before. He had a 10-day offer, 10-day contract as well, but COVID messed everything up, as we know. But just know this ain't a cupcake league, and it's definitely gotten the world respect that it needed, that it well deserved.
Well, it's super exciting to see your posts both on, on social media and just kind of follow along and be paying attention to it. So I'm rooting you on, man. I really hope that it just takes over and keeps growing and getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah, man. I appreciate it, man.
For sure. And I want to backtrack for 1 second, just on the idea of trash talking, just because I think that's amazing and hilarious. But when you're back in like the street ball era, what are some of the things that you're saying, or some of the things that people are saying to you as far as the trash talk goes? Is it super real out there?
Yeah, it's real. It's real. Certain stuff I wouldn't even say right now, but it's real.
Yeah.
It's real. It's real, but I think that because of my background, and it's like you'll literally have to kill me to get me off the court and stop playing hard, that playing in the playground, it's tough because, you have the fans, they're right on you. The fans can walk on the court and, try to intimidate you in ways that don't have nothing to do with basketball. I might be going to another neighborhood and embarrassing their best player from that neighborhood. They may not like that. So, okay, because a guy says, some harsh words to you or a neighborhood, what do? Do you back down or you continue to apply pressure? You get what I'm saying? So I'm going to continue to apply pressure because that's just how I'm built. And then when the game is over, you're going to respect that way, right? So when you go into a regular arena, excuse me.
Bless you.
When you go into a regular arena, thank you, those words can't bother you because you're in a regular arena with security. You know what I mean?
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Like,
you've had like 10-fold worse out in the streets.
I'm in playgrounds where it's like, dude, what are you even doing here? You know how it goes. Excuse me. Like, you know how it goes around here. But, that's just I'm just built different. But I'm very grateful because of the way I was built and the route that I had to go because, things that would bother most people is a walk in the park for me.
No, that's powerful. And like you were mentioning, if you're in like a safe arena, you're kind of impervious to all that intimidation or whatever people are going to say. It's like it's child's play. Yeah.
It's like, it's not even intimidation. Like they don't even know what intimidation actually is. So if they think this is intimidation, knock yourself out. And they're like, hey man, he can play under pressure pretty good, It's like, dude, you don't even know what pressure is. This is basketball. This is easy.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. So I noticed that you're wearing your Wolf hoodie.
Yeah.
I almost wore my shirt as well, but I just didn't want to like kind of. But I was going to ask you about the brand and how things were going with that.
Well, the brand is going pretty good. You know, we got wolflife.com.au. And what a wolf is, you know, there's 4 steps to human evolution, right? Step 1 is identifying your purpose, your goal, you know, your talent, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Second step is the wolf stage, right? Which is what a wolf is an individual that goes hard until they hit their target, they get their goal, their dreams come to reality, right? And then that's the wolf stage. That's stage 2. So stage 1 is identifying your purpose. Stage 2 is achieving your goal and achieving that purpose. Stage 3 is eudaimonia, which is you're flourishing, a human flourishing, right? You're excelling in that space. You know, league MVP, G League champion, 14 years playing professionally. That's my eudaimonia. And stage 4 is giving back. And what that is, you know, whether it's philanthropy, money-wise, or being a mentor, giving the game back to somebody else, sending the elevator down to bring somebody else up, right?
Oh, I like that, yeah.
Those are the 4 stages of, I believe, human evolution, human productivity, right? And ultimately, what does all of that do? It solidifies your legacy. When you're gone, what will they say about you? So that's what the wolf is actually really about. It's just stage 2 of, you know, human evolution.
That's great. Well, I mean, just, you know, from speaking with you, I feel like you're, you know, fully into stage 4. And I see that you're doing, you're being booked for like some speaking engagements.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, what are some like themes or topics that you're talking about when you're doing these?
Well, for me, the biggest thing is, how bad do you want it?
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm always more mentally, you know, what are you prepared to do to have your dream come to fruition? I like to listen. And I like for people to really understand this shit ain't given. I'm not talking about sports. I'm talking about being successful in life. You know what I'm saying? Like, how hard are you willing to go? Depending who you are, will determine that. You know, that's the shit that I'm on. What are you willing to do? Who are the people you have around you? And I go into bits and pieces and use examples of my life, how I got where, what I had to do, how tough this shit was. And I embraced it because of the undying amount of confidence that I have, even at my worst. You know, like, what are you really willing to do? And what are you really willing to risk to get to where you got to get to? All positive, I'm talking. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not for everybody and everybody's not for me, and I'm okay with that. But if you really want to know, I'll tell you how to do it if you're an underdog, mentally, the type of stuff you got to do. There's no way some of the stuff that I tell you won't hit you the right way. You'll implement some of it into your personal journey, and you follow the route, you follow that blueprint, you're going to be successful.
You know, some of those hard-hitting facts, that's, if you're young and you're hungry, that's what you got to hear, you know, as tough as it is at times.
Yeah, facts. Yeah, at the end of the day, there's a saying that says, yo, nobody cares about the labor pains. Everybody want to see the baby. Nobody cares about all the hard work and all the stuff that occurred towards the 9 months of the pregnancy, blah, blah, blah. Where's the baby? They want to see the end result.
Yep.
That's it.
And so is that exactly what you're telling younger ball players? Do you have something else that you would kind of tell aspiring ball players, or is it kind of along those lines?
I mean, this is what I would tell aspiring ball players, right? I say, you want to play pro, huh? They say, yeah, you know, yeah. I say, yeah. I said, how many teams in the NBA? Okay. There's 30. How many players on each roster? They don't know, right? That's the biggest mistake. You're unprepared already.
Yeah.
All right, let me break this thing down to you, right? 30 teams in the league, 15 players. 30 times 15 is 450. It's 450 players in the league, right? Cool. Cut that in half. Cut that in half. 225. Those are the superstars and the veterans that's about to be finished, right? These are the top 8 in your rotation. Those are the guys that's playing every night. 225 left. Cut that in half. That's the next group, the future superstars of the league, right? The Zion Williams and all of these guys, like the Zach LaVine, all these guys. Those are the future of the NBA. So they're next to go into that 225, right? There's 112 and a half. Cut the 112 and a half in half. That's 56. That's the draft class that just got drafted last year. So it's 56 left, right? There's 56 spots available, potentially. Those are the guys that are on the end of the bench, right? 14th man and the 15th man on each team. What are your odds of making the NBA? 56 is what you got to work. The game is no longer local. It's domestic. It's no longer domestic. It's global. It's millions of people that want to play in the NBA. What are the odds of making the NBA? You don't even know those numbers. Preparation is power. You don't know what you're facing. So how can you prepare for something you don't even know? You got some research to do. Now they like, oh, my name is Corey Williams. Welcome to the Wolf Institute. Now how bad you want it?
Mind blown.
Why should a coach even take you? Why should a coach take you for college? Why should he pick you? Because I work hard. Fuck out of here. Everybody says that. Why should he pick you? Serious? What are you willing to do? That the other million ain't. Dig deep. I need to feel something. You're going to tell me that I relate to, and I'll pick you over the other 900,000. You think this is a game? People do this. Their parents put pressure on them. You the only hope. Get me out of here. Can you play against a guy like that and outplay him for the spot? You think this shit is sweet. You got your iPhone 11s. You got your new sneakers on, your Montclair jacket. You posting. You think you cute. There's a kid out there that can't afford none of that shit, and he's looking at your page every day, waiting to play against you to bust your ass. You don't even know it. This shit is real. You really ready for that? Those are conversations I have. The uncomfortable, you will look at yourself in the mirror every night after that. Damn, I didn't know it was like that. Nah, you don't. Get your ass to sleep and get in the gym. That was the type of conversations I have. I'm not for everybody, but those who listen, get it and move forward in life.
I mean, that's powerful stuff. I kind of wish I heard some of that when I was a little bit younger. That's, like you said, those are the hard hitting things that if you're young and hungry, that's what you need to hear. You have to know what you're up against to do anything good, do anything big.
Real talk. Real talk.
Did you have a role model or a mentor figure that kind of helped you guide you through some things at all?
I mean, we all have role models and mentors. I didn't have one day to day that held my hand, but along the way, it's really just me though. My mother was my role model. That's who I had, She had my undying support.
I'm sure she's super proud of all the things that you're up to now, man. So that's awesome. So just like some lighter questions, who's somebody's swagger that you've always admired?
There's a few. I loved Kanye. I loved his bravery. Loved his swag. Some of the stuff
Nice.
Andre 3000 would rock, I liked. It was different. I liked Westbrook, I love. Think he's the
I love his
flyest dude in
style.
the NBA.
I don't know much about his playing, but his fashion sense is
Yeah.
impeccable.
I love everything about Westbrook. Westbrook is a throwback player in the new school era. He averaged 3 years in a row, 3 consecutive seasons, a triple-double. That's crazy. You know what I mean? Like, but yeah, man, you know, I like it's just guys that in New York in itself, you know, just growing up in New York, you know, some guys are too over the top. You know, I'm not a label whore. I think that I could go to Zara, H&M and come out fly just as much as you can go into Gucci or Dior. You know what I'm saying? It's all on how you rock it. I was very grateful of the era I grew up in, where like you really had to have style and a sense of fashion sense, and put pieces and things together to go together to make your outfit. You know what I mean? So I was just more happy that, you know, a lot of the influences in New York, just, you know, everyday influence, you know, I was able to see in New York. You know, just walking in the city, you would just see people you don't know that have some sick fashion sense and style, and you'd be like, all right, well, I don't really like the whole outfit, but I like the way his pants are cuffed at the bottom. I never thought of rocking it like that. And I could implement that into what I do. You know what I mean? So I think it's just bits and pieces of people.
Yeah, I mean, that's like still one of my favorite things about New York. Some of the just walking down the street and seeing some of the people that really have like a beautiful fashion sense, and whether that's like, you know, a cuff on their pants or like a jacket or something like that. And I mean, even the thing that attracted me to you that night we met, you're wearing a jacket that says "Follow your fucking dreams" on the back, and it's like, who is this guy? This is incredible.
Right.
So you know, it can bring people together as well.
Yeah, man, you know, just being brave in your own space, you know, and I think that's just what fashion is to me in itself. You know, wearing something that you're comfortable wearing regardless of what the piece or pieces are, and own it. You know, not too many people could wear a jacket that says "Follow your fucking dreams." You know what I'm saying? It better be a story behind it, or else, you know, it might hit me what it's saying, but it will hit me and resonate with me more if the story that you have, the person wearing the jacket, has the story that it's relation to the message, whatever the message is.
Yeah, I mean, a million percent. And just from that, then we did that photo shoot together that one time, and we're here now. We've been keeping in touch. So absolutely. Just to wind some things down, I'm kind of curious, what do you hope people take away from watching you play the game?
One, I always wanted people to feel a connection with me while I'm playing, as hard as I'm going. You know what I mean? It gets you hype. It gives you a sense of enjoyment for those 2 hours you watching. You know, that's one. Two, you're never disappointed because you always saw consistency. Whenever you came to watch me play, I put on the show. You know, you left satisfied with the performance you saw. In terms of the lifetime fans, the lifelong fans on this journey with me, I just want them to see that, you know, hard work, just staying true to yourself and staying true to your craft, that opportunity will present itself. You have to be ready to capitalize on it. That's really the message throughout my whole journey. The window of opportunity closes faster than it opens. So when the opportunity presents itself, you have to capitalize on it. Because once the window closes, you don't want to look back and regret. You get what I'm saying? Because at some point the window's going to close.
Sure.
You just want to make sure you maximize the window of opportunity.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's something to be said for that, for somebody that shows up every time, and no matter how they're feeling, no matter what's going on in their life, they always perform and deliver. And whether I mostly see that, well, I pay attention to musicians mostly, but whether it's an athlete, an artist, or musician, whoever it is, just consistently showing up, putting in that work, and showing that you're giving it 110% no matter what. I think there's something to really be said for that.
And I think that, in those in that lane, you know what I'm saying, sports entertainment, you have no choice or you'll lose your job.
True.
I mean, you got a choice. But if you want to stay in the game, on top of the game, relevant in the game for as long as you possibly can, my friend, consistency is key. There's a lot of blood, sweat, tears, and sacrifices you have to make in order to be productive at a rate that matters for you to be relevant in the game. You know what I mean? Nobody cares about your feelings. Again, nobody cares about the labor pains. They want to see the baby. That's it. Nobody cares you had a bad day. We came to see you because we had a bad day.
Yeah.
We're relying on you. So you got to put your personal shit to the side and, make us feel better with what you do. That's why we pay this money.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's
the hard, cold truth.
It's cool to be watching your journey from when I met, I guess, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago at this rate. And then, just seeing you consistently go up and up, and it's inspiring, man. It's really awesome. And just to kind of,
I appreciate it, bro. Thank you, man.
Of course. Yeah. I mean, thank you. You've also had some really encouraging words for me over the years, which it's always really nice to hear that, especially from somebody who I look up to. It's always nice to hear a little positivity from them. So
yeah, appreciate it, bro. I don't call too many people my friends, you know what I mean? We done kicked it plenty times. We've done work together plenty times. So that's when you hit me up, I'm like, yo, let's do it for sure. Energy is valuable. Your energy is your currency. You must protect it and use it wisely. So I had no problem ever talking to you, reaching out to you, giving you good vibes and energy because you're a good person to me. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's what it's for. What's the purpose and what's the point of us being around each other at the time where you can provide something to me, or I could provide something to you with wanting nothing in return other than giving you good vibes and energy, and hoping, whatever, as small or big as it is, or for no reason, just want you to feel good and be productive, be happy. That's what we should do.
Yeah, man, I'm totally with you on that. And I'm, again, hugely honored that you did this with me, and just the constant love and support over the years.
No doubt, bro.
And yeah, just to close things out, I'm just kind of curious what's in store for Homicide in the next couple months and in the next year or so.
Man, COVID.
Fucking COVID.
COVID put a lot of stuff. COVID put a lot of great stuff on hold, postponed it. I was going to the Olympics to be an analyst for 3x3, which is now an Olympic sport.
Damn.
Right? And 3x3 started in the playground. You know what I mean? Go there, play 3-on-3 ball, blah, blah, blah. You playing. And now it's a professional sport, and it's now in the Olympics. And I was going as an analyst to Japan.
That's so crazy. So, that's insane.
Yeah. So I was doing that. Shaq was coming last month to Australia. I was going to do the 3-city tour with him, Q&A, Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane. That got postponed. So I was really grateful for those 2 major opportunities, but have to wait to see what 21 looks like. Yeah.
Well, I know you well enough that I'm sure there's going to be, once things open up and things are back, that big things on the horizon.
You know it. Pedal to the floor. Again, the window of opportunity closes faster than it opens. So you got to maximize the window while you have it open.
Exactly. That's powerful. And I think that's a great way to end it. But Corey, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it. It's so good to catch up. And I just love hearing what you're up to and hearing these stories, man. It's really cool.
Man, I appreciate it. Anytime, my brother.
All right, man. Well, I'll talk to you soon. Enjoy the rest of your day.
All right.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of The Gifted Conversations. If you like what you heard, please subscribe, tell a friend, or leave a review. Or if you hated it, feel free to tell me to fuck off or leave a negative comment. Anything is welcome. Appreciate the support, and I'm sending you positive thoughts and energy.